Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jed Joling with eXp Realty, Monday, February 6th today, and I've got a large market update for you. I'm in my home office today. We've got a lot of data to cover to keep you fully in tune with what the market is doing because it is doing some things that you'd probably want to know about. So we're going to jump right into it. Jackson and Josephine County active listing count today in single family homes is at 797, up 30% from a year ago today where it was near 557. This last week we had 90 new listings hit the market. 113 listings went pending, 41 closed, and 40 off the market due to expired or canceled listing contracts. You might note the pending count there is quite a surprise, a pleasant surprise. 113 pending listings. That's quite a bit. In fact, it's the most we've seen since the week of August 15th last year. And it's 28 more than we saw last week alone, which last week was showing some good numbers as well at 85 pending listings. So looking at our 4-week average, we are up 30.5 on new listings, up 42.5 on the pending count compared to the 4-week average, and down 3.5 on the close count. We're just about wrapped up with the majority of those transactions that went into escrow right around Christmas and New Year's. We should start seeing our close count come back to life here in the next week or two. I imagine we'll be back in the 50s and nearing the 60 mark as well. So in looking at this data for this last week compared to last year, same week, we're up 33% on the new count. We're down 33% on the new count. We're down 20.5 on the pending count, and we're down 58.25 on the close count. So a snapshot of this week gives us 4.5 months of inventory on the market, which means if all new listings were to stop today at the current rate that we are closing deals, which was 41 deals this week, it would take us 4.5 months to eat up all the inventory sitting on the market now. Theoretically, I want to do a theoretical snapshot of what our inventory might look like in about a month if my numbers are any good, based off of the pending count from this week. If we maintained at a pending count of 113, which I'd find a hard time believing that's going to keep up that high here in the next few weeks, but we'll find out. Taking 70% of those all the way through to closing with the current number of inventory that we have, 797, that would give us a little under 2.5 months of inventory, which would be a drastic change up from where we're at now. That'd be 2 months less. It's theoretical, like I said. It could happen, it could not. Regardless, I think where we're at now, I think we are going to see less inventory here in the next few weeks regardless. But the question is how much less. The close counts, they're going to start picking up, so we'll be able to find those numbers out here soon. We've got January data in, so let's go over that real quick. Year over year, from January 22 and January 23 compared to each other, we're down exactly 50% on the sales volume sold. $77 million difference in that. Year over year sold listings were down 50.5%. So those numbers are pretty relative. That makes sense. Our average cumulative days on market now for January of 23 is 82 days in Jackson County and 91 days in Josephine County. Sell to list ratio, the price that a listing is selling at compared to where it is listed at, is going for 92% in Jackson County and 89% in Josephine County. Interest rates, let's jump into that. We had the Fed announce a rate hike of 0.25% last week, and the interest rates responded well. The mortgage rates responded well until Friday. Interestingly enough, they started to tick back up, and they did again today. So we went from 5.99 as the average 30-year conventional fixed mortgage rate to 6.39 today, which was a good jump, almost a half percentage, 50 basis points, which is a good jump just over a couple days. And I was trying to figure out why. So everything I found was pointing to the positive jobs report that came out, and doesn't necessarily change the rates, but it could change what happens in the future with the Fed and those who make the rates. So they responded in that way. We had added 517,000 jobs to the economy in January, which is great. And the unemployment rate fell to 3.4%, which is the lowest we've had as an unemployment rate in 53 years. So for whatever reason, our mortgage rates are responding a little bit negatively to that, because maybe that's a better economy. Maybe that's going to speculate more inflation to come. Who knows what their thoughts are behind that? But wish we knew the January CPI inflation report, but we're not going to get that until the 14th, which is going to be next Tuesday. So maybe we can touch on that and see where things are there. I imagine it's going to be better than it was the last couple months. But given all this data, and putting aside the fact that the mortgage rates ticked up a little bit, because I believe they're going to come back down, I think we're seeing a turning point in the market. And that's based off of the feel of things, brokers I'm talking to, people I'm talking to in the business, the numbers, obviously, which is most of my basis, and what I'm seeing day to day. I'm seeing places sell in a couple of days now. I had a similar situation last week. And in fact, if we look at the 90 new listings that hit the market last week, I went through them all. 21 of those are already pending sale. That's 23% of those pending sale within their first week on the market, which is pretty crazy given the situation we've been in the last few months. I'm starting to see some multiple offer situations again. And in fact, I've run into a couple of things in the past weekend where I tried to schedule to go see a place, and they already had multiple offers and were taking an offer already just in a matter of days. So it's time to be back on top of it as much as we had to be last year. Not that we're not, but it is happening where we're seeing those multiple offer situations and houses sell in a matter of days. So given all that, I think we're possibly seeing a turning point back into a good seller's market this springtime. Things could get very busy again. And there's one other thing I'd like to throw out there that it is speculation, but as far as the inventory goes, we're nearing the point in the year where the inventory is the lowest. More people like to sell in the spring and the summer. It works out better for family plans, for school, for whatever it might be, better weather. But here in the last few years, we've had rates that were so low, 2.5% to 4%. Let's call that the low rates, where people might be gridlocked, where they're either stuck there because if they sold, they couldn't afford what they had, or they're stuck there because why move when their payment is so low, and they're going to take on a higher mortgage rate if the mortgage rate's maintained to be higher. So I'm calling that gridlock. That brings a possibility that we're not going to see near as many homes as we should hit the market for sale here this spring and summer, which could drive our inventory numbers real low, like I was speculating earlier, maybe even 2.5 months low here just coming up shortly, which would make it really hard for buyers. And I'm experiencing right now with several buyers that are in the market to buy, have the funds for what their criteria is, but we just can't find it because there's very little to pick from. So the inventory is a struggle. That's about a wrap on the data and everything regarding the market. I want to say thank you to all of those out there that constantly are sharing my name around. I know there's definitely a few of you because I received several calls in the last few weeks that said I was referred out. And I appreciate that, and it goes a long ways for my business. It helps me stay busy, and really appreciate that. So everybody have a great rest of the week. We'll touch again on our market next Monday with our Monday update and see where we're at. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.